Hey, hello everybody! It is Kyle Walker. You're watching Walking with God.
Okay, you want to tell them who you really are?
Yeah. Hi, I'm Ashley, her kid.
I'm Katie. I own From the Scene Media. We are obviously not Kyle Walker, even though it's just pretending to be Kyle Walker. So we are doing one of the summer shorts, and we are going to talk about the challenges facing preteens today. I am going to let her, my preteen, start. And so she has a list. And then we also reached out to a lot of people today, both preteens and adults. So how we're going to do it is we're going to address it from both points of view. We're going to address what preteens think is hard for preteens, and we're going to address what adults think is hard for preteens. Some might be the same, and some will not be the same. So, Ashley, take it away.
Okay, so one of the first problems I personally think with being a preteen is technology, because technology just gives us more feeding for like just not interacting with each other at all, and then gives us more feed for bullying, which can be set off because it can easily be deleted or ignored, because if the bullying's going on outside of school or outside of like whatever you're doing, then they can't do anything about it really. So I feel like technology can easily be fixed by knowing who you're talking to, being respectful of what you're given to use with your technology, and for parents, just monitor what your kid's on and who they're talking to and who's talking to them. So, yeah.
Okay, so we got this answer a lot today. We got this answer from children her age. We got this answer overwhelmingly from the adults. This was the number one answer we were given, was that all the adults think that technology is the biggest issue facing preteens today. So, Ashley, what do you think the easiest way to solve this problem is? As an adult, what should we do to solve this problem?
I would just probably sit down, talk to my kids about it, and be like, hey, is there anything going on with technology? And maybe have a technology talk why they're allowed to use it and why there are things they are not allowed to use it for. And maybe lay down some ground rules like you're not allowed to do this and you're not allowed to download this with your technology. So, yeah, that's what I would probably do as a parent and what other parents should maybe do.
Okay, and amongst your friends, or maybe not just your friends, but everybody you know, how many parents do you think monitor or are accurately monitoring everybody's social media?
Okay, so I have a lot of friends. Hi. So, but I think lots of them, I know lots of my friends, they have phones, but then I know that their parents do not monitor them. So there's probably a handful of like, maybe like 30 people that monitor their kids out of like maybe 15, 20, which is really low because, I'm not going to say names, but there's a family that like they are super low on technology, like they don't even have a TV, and like when their kids are on their Chromebooks, because our schools provide them now, they like can only have them for like 2 hours in a day, and they always have to know what site they're on. So I feel like that's a really good idea if like your kids don't have a phone or like they don't have like an iPad or something like that. So I feel like that's like a really good idea and a way to set that for another example for another family.
Okay, and I won't go into details, but we've had a few issues this year, or at least we know of some issues where some parents have been monitoring things closely and other parents do not monitor things. And so that's kind of led to some issues in school where some kids maybe tease the kids whose parents are super involved, right?
Yes, I feel like that is a thing because those parents are more loose, but then the parents that are more uptight about the technology usually have way more trust in their children because they like trust their children that they're going to do the right thing with their technology, and like the others, they just don't really care. So I feel like the way you should really respond to that and be like, yes, my parents do respond, like they do monitor my stuff, and it makes me a better person from that because I know what to do with what I have. I don't take that for advantage at all. That's what I would probably say.
And have we had any examples where your mom was monitoring things and other?
Yes. So I do have an Instagram, and I have a couple friends on there, and we have this group chat, and like all of them were not saying 11, 10-year-old things at all. And then my mom, she has 3 Instagrams for her seeing the media one, and then her regular one, which is just 2. I over exaggerated that. But then she logged on and was like, "Hi kiddos." And like I usually say that like when I just log on to my thing, and then they're like, "Oh, hi Ashley." They're like, "This is Katie, Ashley's mom." And they all freak out because no one else that was in that group chat except a friend of mine, his mom monitors it like super much. Um, but then like everyone else freaked out because they're like, "Oh my god, no other parent would hop on here." And then my mom did because my mom monitors, and I'm not one of those kids. If like you hop on to one of my friends, I don't care if you did it like with a reasonable thing and you have a reason for it. But so I thought like it was kind of cool that I didn't have to say it to my friends like, "Hey, my mom's saying it." No, my mom just said it. So they don't say that stuff anymore because they're like, "Oh, Ashley's mom will tell our parents."
Yeah, so we had an issue because any app that Ashley has is also logged in on my phone because I don't want to have to deal with it after the fact. So any messages that are going through come to my phone in real time. So she doesn't have apps that don't come to my phone in real time. So as soon as something inappropriate comes across, or if something inappropriate comes across,
They're blocked and deleted.
yeah, I can respond to it immediately. So that day, some messages started coming across, and so I immediately responded to let them know that I was there and could see it. And a couple kids immediately like hopped out of the group chat.
They left the group chat.
They panicked, and the other ones I let know that I would be contacting parents and that things like that better not be coming across again. And that's really all it took. Like since then, I haven't seen.
We haven't had any
We
issues.
haven't had any issues.
And
It
I'm
just
still
took,
friends with those friends.
yeah, it just took one parent to step in and say, this is not acceptable.
Yeah, and then that word. Okay.
Okay, you can go on to your next one.
Okay, so this is one that affects a lot of people that I know, which is dating. So I feel like this is a pro and con of things because for some kids, like their parents don't come home a lot and like they like don't get to see them a lot. So like having someone that like they know that cares about them is like a coping mechanism. And then some kids they just do it because it makes them look cooler or makes them look popular, or like just like the label of it is like cool to them, which I totally disagree about really, because I strongly believe that some people, if like you actually like literally like someone, sure you should like see them a couple times, but then you also need to realize like what's around you. So like if you have a lot of things going on, it's probably not the greatest idea, and especially if you're like around a test, let's say, and you're just talking all night, then you're not getting anything done. Like it's okay to talk a lot because I am a very big talker with all my friends. That's why we have study groups. um, but like if you're just doing that, you're not getting anything done at all, which is really bad for you and for the other person. So it wouldn't help you or anyone else really. So I just feel like you should kind of look before you do, which is the opposite of what a lot of people say, think before you do. But I say look around you and see what your situation is before you even jump into something that you don't really know about because you're 10, 11, up there, 10, 11, 12, 13, you know. Like, no, I don't, I think, so I think that you should be allowed to date if like you actually really like someone, and this is why my mom's shaking her head no. But I feel like you need to be in like a really good place and have like your grades up to even be like have that considered, or like have your stuff together with school and with your activities and all that, because most kids do activities after school curriculum stuff. So that's what I personally think about that, which is a big problem at my school because there's so many people I know.
So this has been an ongoing debate in our home.
Ongoing.
Yes, and in a lot of her friends' homes, I was not actually prepared to discuss this at this grade. I don't really know why, because when I think back on it, and I was a teacher, and so I even know that, like, I know when my students started having crushes and when they even started talking about dating, but I still didn't really think about it, I guess. So we do have a rule that she is not allowed to date yet.
I
But
have to wait until I'm in middle school.
yes, and I won't say where she goes to school, but I will say middle school starts later in our school district than in most school
It
districts.
starts.
Don't say, because I don't say it out loud, because that'll identify where you go to school, because we're the only one around that does that.
Oh, for
But
real?
yeah, but
Oh,
it
that's
does
weird.
start later than in most. So it is a little. She would be a little older, but that is our rule. But there has been a lot of discussion about it, and I know a lot of her friends are dating. I put that in quotes because
It
dating.
lasts like a week or two, and then it's like, I don't like you anymore. And I'm like, that's not dating. That's just like talking for a week.
Yeah, and not to sound like an old person, but I really am not quite 100% sure what their definition of dating is. I know that makes me sound old. I even remember when my parents said that to me, so I really feel old. But yes, I'm still of the opinion that they should all just be friends. But I know some of them have even, some of our friends have even been dating people for multiple grades at this point.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Yeah, so
It's been a long
it
time,
has been an ongoing thing.
thing.
And I will say that one of the parents today that sent me a message said things like sexual relationships and those and those sort of topics and romantic topics and being exposed to that type of things at such a young age was one of her biggest concerns for our youth today. And so I don't know that this is really a new thing, because when I look back on it, I do remember, you know, fifth, sixth, seventh graders were, I mean, dating or claiming they were dating when I was in school too. But I don't know that it's necessarily the best thing for them with so many other things going on in their lives.
I think we decided towards the end of my last year because I am a little child. Because my birthday is just the cutoff. So,
She is the youngest for her grade.
yeah, so I get an exception with that. So, because, like, we actually talk about it because, me, my dad, and mom and my stepmom actually sat down. We all talked about it. And I was just like, yeah, cool. Like, I'm not pushing it because, like, I'm 11.
That's fine. You can say that. She's
11.
11.
I was mid sentence and I was like, oh gosh. um, so, I was like, I'm not in any rush. I love what I do. I'm cool with doing strings for now. But like, I do think like having crushes and like liking someone is like totally fine. But then like, if you're dating someone, I feel like you should like actually know them and not just be like, oh, I like you, so let's date. No, no, please no. Cause like I feel like you should actually know someone. Like, um, I have one of my closer friends. I'm not gonna say names, but they have been dating since third grade. Oh my lord, it's. Mm. But now they like are really good friends, and like I'm actually really good friends with both of them. I think some days it's kind of funny. I don't make fun of them. I'm just like, oh wow, wow. So yeah, my thoughts, mommy's thoughts.
Okay, go on to the next one.
Okay. Oh, okay. So, school. It's not just like, oh, school's a problem because everyone hates school. I personally think school is pretty okay. It's a free time where I get to see my friends, I get to eat, I get to play strings. Like, it's an okay
You
time.
get to learn.
I get to learn, but that's not my favorite part. I love science, though. I love blowing things up. Oh, yeah, I blew up something in science class last year. Hi. So, please don't get me in trouble. um, but school just like depending what grade you are, you will get more homework. And that puts a lot of stress on kids because they have extra curriculum stuff. Like I do a lot of stuff. Then you're like, oh my god, I have no time to do this, practice this, go running, um, or practice for soccer. Um, so like that just weighs on you a lot. And then school being like all the drama and all the rumors going around just heavily weighs on you and sets down like I think this isn't. Mm, I think the drama and stuff could be reduced if people just told the truth more. Um, but I know that definitely weighs on some people, and I'm one of those people that some days it does definitely weigh on. But I feel like most people should just like push it aside, like whatever. I'm gonna be me, not gonna listen to you because you're just causing too much for me right now. And just like if you're doing anything like extracurriculum, just be like, oh, I'm gonna work harder at this, or like if you don't, just be like, okay, I'm gonna study harder on this, or like I'm gonna find out my favorite book, which I actually did this summer. I got really bored, which this still goes on the topic of school. I actually got really bored and ended up reading the whole Harry Potter series and watching all of Stranger Things. I'm such a geek, I know. And so just sit down and like just calm a little bit and let your parents know like, hey, this is going on, just please help me, or like, or if you're a parent, just be like, is there anything going wrong or going well in school? Just have a conversation at like dinner, like a family dinner. And then like just, I know from personal, if you have all of your stuff done, it feels really great because then you have extra free time to like do stuff, go out with friends, go to the movies, like do extra stuff. So, yeah, that's my thoughts. Mom, do you have anything to say about that?
I do have some things to say about that. So, in addition to what she said, some people chimed in on this topic, um, similar to what she said, but a little different. So, balancing multiple things was a lot. A lot of people talked about the amount of homework and being stressed out and overwhelmed by big projects from school, the amount of homework that's coming home, and having to balance like homework versus chores versus extracurricular activities. In addition to, one of my friends made a really good point, that starting at an early age, kids and preteens feel like they have to do everything because so many different activities require that you start at an early age. And if you don't start at an early age, you're not very old before it's too late for you to get involved, or at least you feel like it's too late for you to get involved, because there's so many different things that if you didn't start young, everybody else did start young, and then you're behind the curve. And then on the flip side of that, there's also so many things that you have to choose at an early age. I know for her specifically,
Was band or strings?
choosing between band and strings was a big thing because
I'm the only strings player in my whole family
all,
within like 17 generations.
I don't think it's 17 generations. I don't know
It's
how
a
many
lot.
generations it is, but between a lot of generations, there wasn't strings players, but also she was deciding in fifth grade that in high school, does she want to be in marching band? Because she did want to be in marching band because she's heard everybody else tell stories of like band trips and competing in parades and competing in
And I
drumline and
like
everything
being
else.
loud.
But she really preferred to play a stringed instrument. So making that decision at a young age, trying to decide, like here in our school district, you have to decide between, do you want to do art or music? And you have to decide that in middle school, which isn't great for those people that love art and music.
I'm not trying to brag or anything, but I'm kind of good at both, so it's very hard to choose because I do a lot of singing gigs, and then I actually paint pictures for people, and they actually order them for me. So I'm just like, how are you just gonna make me pick from music and art? Why are you gonna do that to me though?
Yeah, so a lot of decisions, like for people that have multiple interests, you have to make decisions early that affect a lot of things. And then there's a lot of things that overlap that, are you doing theater and music or are you doing sports? And if you're thinking about those things long term and you have to decide at the age of 10 or 11 which one you're going to pick long term, that's a lot of pressure for young children. So that's a lot on somebody, that's only 11 or 12.
Yeah, and it just gets like overwhelming because like your perspective changes over the years. Like I know when I was so for forever, like since I was super little, I've always wanted to play the violin. I've always wanted to, and then like out of nowhere, I was just like, I'm gonna play the flute. And mom played the flute, and then my dad played the flute for like 3 months. um, and then I was just like, I'm gonna do the viola, and then that's what I stuck with. And then like midsummer, I was like, I'm gonna do the clarinet, and mom was like, but, and then I take on lots of extra stuff. And then so like I have a rule of like we have to keep it under like 5 max. So like it gets up there, and some of them are seasonal, but they still are up there. So like I would get upset like cuz this is a perfect example. So I do running club with my school. We do like 5K runs, and we did a 5.5K or something, right? Yeah, I don't know what we did. Because I didn't go there. I had a doctor's appointment. But anyways, they were like, you either get to do running club or kickboxing. And I'm like, okay. Which is like a giant decision. Like two things you love, you have to choose between two. It's like choosing between like your mom or your dad. Like you can't just choose between two of them. Like because you want to do both so bad. So I just think that personally kids should like think about those and be like, this is really what I want to do.
Yeah, and one of her friends responded to our message today about what's hard for them, and she said that a lot of adults ask kids to
Oh, I know who
ask
this
kids
is.
to do adult things or make adult decisions, and I feel like that goes along with this topic. But she said not only with like adult decisions like these or decisions that are going to affect them for long term, but also with chores or different things that they're asking of them, that a lot of times she feels like what the adults are asking are things that should really be adults doing, or that adults are bringing kids into adult situations that
Shouldn't be.
shouldn't be brought into. So I think it's just a lot of weight put on.
Sorry, I'm being very squiggly.
It's a lot of weight put on their shoulders. So, and I know that somebody else said their almost 11-year-old said the responsibility, and so I think those all go hand in hand too. We're asking. I mean, I know that they're growing up, and in some areas they want a lot of responsibility, but we also have to remember that ultimately they are still kids, and so we can't throw too much at them at one time.
Okay, is that all?
Yep, that's all for that one.
Okay. So most of all of us have been to school, and you know all those groups that are within a school: the mean girls, the cool girls, the athletic people, the soccer people, which are like out of the athletic people. You know those people. And then like just the regular people. So, well, groups is very like picky. I don't know if that
Clicky.
clicky. I don't know what the word is for that. But so like if you aren't exactly what like someone else is like, they're just like, no, not gonna be your friend. So I feel like groups are like a very bad thing because I feel like I I know this is gonna sound really bad. I feel like you shouldn't just like automatically try to be friends with everyone. because you can't be friends with everybody. Like the world just doesn't work that way. So like you have your best friend, you have like your ride or die best friends, and then you have like your friends, and then you have like the people that like go to your school that you see around town. But like I feel like groups are just like you're forced to be friends. Like you're like us, you're forced to be our friend. And I feel like doing that just drives a school apart or like a grade apart because then you're just like, okay, don't fit into any of these, then mm, you don't have anyone to hang out with. And when I moved here in, well, I've always lived here, but then I changed schools. Third grade, I had nobody. Like I was just like, and then I met my best friend for forever. And then a year later, I met my other best friend. And then through the years, you're like, oh, these are my friends, and everyone's like, oh my gosh, I like your group, and I just remember being like, I don't like my group, and they're like, what? And I was like, because we're not a group, we're just friends. Like we hang out, like we don't have like a set title, like we're just friends that like the same things, like we're all geeks, but like we're not the geek group or anything like that. Like we just so um so I feel like those are very descriptive. There's a word. Sorry. Um, just I don't think they're very good for the society because then you're trying to be someone you're not to like fit in with like other people. Cause I have a friend that is like totally a cool person, and we were friends since third grade. And I remember like she had her group or whatever, and then they were like, "Oh, just come hang out with us or whatever." And I was like, "Okay, whatever." And they're like, "Oh, you're just like us." And I'm like, "No, not really." And they're like, "Well, you're gonna be our friend now." And I was like, I was like, "You're cool and all, but just because you say that we're friends doesn't mean like we're actually friends. I don't know you. Like, I see you in the halls. I like occasionally talk to you because we have the same classes, but I don't feel like you should be pushed into someone you're not because you just want to fit in with one person or you just want to look better because looking better is being you because then you look different from anybody because if you look the exact same then what's the point of having groups if you're the same, like why be the same type of person when you could be a totally awesome version of you. Take it away, mother.
Yeah, that's been an issue. I think it's an issue for parents and kids,
Sorry, I'm trying to fish my shoes.
especially in certain situations. And I think some places handle it better than other places, but
Definitely.
there's been some situations, and like she said, she switched schools, and in some situations it was easy for her to like join into different activities, and some activities it was difficult because it was like, oh well, these kids have played this together for forever, and so sorry, there's not a slot for you.
Right.
So I think that's something that's needs to be
Addressed.
people need to be aware of, and just like she said, make sure that people are included, but also that everybody's being themselves and not just changing who they are to fit into whatever group they're expected to be a part of.
Yeah.
Okay, my dear, next.
Okay, next. I'm not an adult. I'm not your therapist. But sleep is on this list. So, sleep I personally think is a really big problem in teen and preteens because they're so worried about everything else that they don't get sleep. And just think of it as like your sleep is your battery pack because that's your energy. Take away that battery pack from whatever it needs, like the human body doesn't function correctly. Personally know this. Didn't go to sleep last night watching Stranger Things. um and so I just like slept and I couldn't like stay awake for the life of me. And so like that just takes so much away from you. Cause like you could have been doing so many more things than just like staying up on your phone worrying about something while you could just be sleeping peacefully. Like, I don't understand why people can just stay up all night just worrying about something. Well, I get that because I've been there, but I don't understand why people worry about things that aren't necessarily worth worrying about, because I know it's different for a lot of other people. I'm not trying to make this sound rude at all, but I know situations are different from other people. But I always think when I have those like worries, scares, I'm just like, well, tomorrow's gonna be better, and I'm not gonna think of those at all. It's just gonna be happiness and flowers. So that's what I would probably say about that. So you need your sleep to function.
Okay, so back to the what should the parents do? What should parents do when their kids are not sleeping, or when they're staying up on technology, or when their friends are calling their phones in the middle of the night, waking everybody up?
Hi, that's my friend.
Waking everybody up.
Yeah, my friends are ridiculous. They're up at like 3 a.m. Don't know what.
True story.
So I feel like parents should be like set a deadline. You can have your phone from like this in the morning to this time of night. So like mine is you can have your phone at 7:30 in the morning because that's when I get in the shower. Well, I really use my phone at 6:30 because that's when I get up. So, but then like, oh, you can have it from this till 9:45 or 10 o'clock or whatever. Um, and then take the electronic away, because then that gives them something that they're like, oh, someone's not texting me, oh, I don't have a notification, oh, this is not happening, oh, like whatever. um they're calmed down, they're not like thinking of what's going on their screen or anything like that. They're just like, okay, it's time for bed. Like, or like have a parent like talk to them like, why aren't they sleeping? Like, is it a bad nightmare, or is just they don't like sleeping? Because I've had that conversation. And it honestly helps because it feels like they're understanding why like you're having troubles here. So that's what I would honestly advise parents to do with their teens or preteens.
Yeah, and don't forget to turn their phone off when you take it away, because not everybody has the same timeline you have. That was a mistake we made for a little while. We were getting woken up because the phone was still going off even though she didn't have it. Um, and even though we definitely do not have this down to a science, we are still learning. So please don't feel like we are lecturing you on this. But it's like some things we've implemented is we have no technology days where she's not allowed to have her phone at all. We have times where her and I, neither one are allowed to have our phones when we're like doing activities.
Yeah.
And then we every day have technology curfews. So
Yes.
yep. So that's a couple things that we're working on, trying to work out the kinks still.
Okay. Do you want to move on to the next?
Yep.
Okay, cool. You can explain this one. I don't like explaining this one.
So this is on her list, but she doesn't want to talk about it, so I'll talk about it. So bullying is a big issue.
I feel like a teacher.
And I am a teacher, so I guess it'll work. So I think we all know bullying's an issue. Parents and kids both address this a lot. There's bullying on social media. There's bullying outside of social media. Social media does make it easier for it to occur. And then I'll say, even when parents get involved,
it doesn't always
solve it. Sometimes even makes it worse. Yeah, we've had some issues where parents have stepped in and like things have gotten a little crazy, but
because they're
and I think that not only is it something that kids deal with, but it's like in the spotlight so much that isn't, I mean, not saying that that's a bad thing, but it's in the spotlight so much right now that even when it's not happening, it's a fear all the time for kids that it's gonna happen. So I think the best thing with bullying is definitely open communication with everybody, between the schools and the kids and the parents, and everybody needs to be open. And also, I will say no prejudgment. because sometimes the child that you do not think would ever cause a problem, or sometimes the child that you think would cause the problem is not always
Learned that one lately.
was not always the situation you think it is. And as somebody who used to work in a school, I know that sometimes
Good old mother.
sometimes kids come with, histories and rap sheets, and you need to not think of those when you're looking at a situation, and look at each situation for what it is.
Yeah. Look
And as
at each situation as you've never known the person before.
Yes, and as a parent also understand that you're not perfect and children aren't perfect and things happen. So
I'm gonna add that to the list. Sorry.
So that's that. I think we all know about bullying, so it doesn't need a lot of explanation. Okay.
Okay. So I think I'm gonna mark this
You've
one
already
off.
discussed that one pretty well. Okay,
Yeah,
so we're on to our last one.
No, we're on to our second last because I'm gonna say something else.
Oh, we're on to our second to last. She added to the list. I apparently
In my
said
brain.
something.
Sorry. Oh gosh. Okay.
Triggered something.
Yeah. Welcome. Looks. So that can mean many different things. So tons of people get judged by the way they look, how they dress, how they act, and such. So here, I'll give you an example. So I have a weird thing. It's like a genetics thing. Don't know. So my mom is obviously brown. My dad is also brown, but then everything else is red.
It's hard for you to show because your hair is
Oh
pink
yeah,
currently.
my hair is currently pink, but it is usually a dirty blonde. And then so leaving with browns and reds, it would usually not make a dirty blonde. But then having that, I don't have a patch of my eyebrow. So like it's there, it's blonde though. It's like white. But then this side,
see it on the screen.
yeah, I
So
can kind of see it.
She has like dark here and then blonde. So half of
Yeah.
her eyebrow is brown and half of her eyebrow is blonde.
And then
And her eyelashes.
yeah, my eyelashes, this one is blonde, this one is black. So I still get judged a ton about that because like when I don't use mascara a lot, then the colors start to show through and they're like, oh, that's no, you put mascara on half of your eyelashes. I'm like, nope. And then like people get judged by how they dress. And I can also speak for this. I dress very peculiar. So, which is very true. I have questionable fashion decisions some days. So like people judge you on that a ton. And my best friend is the opposite, is like the goal of what I think a lot of people want to get at. She is a crazy person, love her lots, but it's so true. She's obsessed with so many things and just shows it. So this girl this week was wearing Halloween pants and a chicken shirt. And I was like, okay, this is normal for my friend.
Yeah, she doesn't care what anybody thinks.
She doesn't like, and it's so great because when people like think, oh, like they're looking at me, Tristan is like, let them look. I didn't say anything.
It's okay, keep going. You've been trying not to say her name, but you did. It's fine.
Hi. So, so I feel like you should just be yourself and be like, oh, they're looking at me. Look, yes, I know. I look great. I actually do that in the halls currently. And then the last one.
Well, hang on. I'm going to say something on that. So a lot of people did say self-confidence was an issue. The youth and the adults both said self-confidence is an issue, but I think you were very correct in saying that if kids just take who they are and don't worry about what everybody else says, which is easier said than done, then that's the most important thing. And if you have people in your life and friends in your life and family in your life that really cares about you, then
why does it matter?
Just surround yourself with people that love you, and it makes things
better.
Yep, makes everything easier. Okay, your last thing.
Okay.
It's not on the list, so I have no idea what she's ready to say.
Yeah. So, greatness. This is a very, I don't really know what to say about the title for this, but so a lot of adults, a lot of our parents expect us to be able to do things that a lot of kids are not able to do, in that like they expect us to be like a mini version of them, or like expect us to like be able to do these college mathematics that like you've never even learned about, or like how to do real estate or something like that. No, true story. So we're not going to get into detail about that, but
That was not me. That was not a me thing.
yeah, no, it was not my mother. But anyways, so like there you a lot of people expect so much from you, and you just sometimes can't give that. But then show people what you can give, because a lot of people have a lot to offer. And like, so sure, you're not able to do X, but you can do Y. Like, just don't really care, because if you can, just like if someone can play, I'm just gonna use strings. If someone can play the cello like super good, and then you're like, but then you can play the violin super well, then why does it matter? Like, you're both great, just at different things. Like, want to touch up?
Okay, so overall, what do you think would help with everything on your list?
Just kind of being yourself, standing up for yourself, standing up for one another. I don't know why my voice just did that. It sounded like I was about to cry. Sorry. Um, maybe just take care of yourself better mentally and physically.
Yeah, I think communication
Communication.
between parents, between each other, like students talking to each other, parents talking to students, parents talking to teachers, students talking to open communication between everybody. And yeah, taking care of yourself and taking care of each other is important and overwhelmingly would help everything on the list. And be yourself.
Yeah.
Everybody else is already taken. Be yourself.
I've never heard that one before. Sorry.
It's a quote. It's a real thing.
It is?
I didn't just make it up. Yeah. No. Okay.
Oh,
So.
never mind.
Okay. So, is there anything else you would like to say?
No.
No? Are you all done talking?
Yeah.
Okay. So, thanks for watching. She's Ashley. You probably won't see her again, at least not for a while. I'll be back later this summer with some other
You'll hear my voice. You just won't see me.
lovely ladies. Yeah. Watch the rest of the Walking with God episodes, and you can find me on From the Scene Media. So we do lots of awesome stuff over there. And you can find Ashley at From the Scene Media with me a lot too. So
yeah, I'm there a lot too.
she is there a lot. So bye.
Bye.